Ukraine is not our enemy, this is what Putin said, and then at the same time he selected his two new countries for the potential invasion in the near future, and one of them is going to be very unexpected for you guys. It will be a major ambush in case this happens. Besides that, Ukrainians in the east had a minor success at repelling attacks of Russians. Ukrainians in the south were able to completely stop the advancement of Russians in Rabotine. And finally, something which is pretty much crazy. Trump, the ex-president of America, he suggested that Russia should attack NATO. Why did he even say it? But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Oh, okay, today we have something truly incredible. I was crying like a kid because we are going to talk about kids. So, there is this new toy, which is like kinda intercontinental ballistic missile Iskander carrier, which just small little kids can use, get themselves familiar with the military vehicles, how to launch ballistic metallic cylinders, how to destroy other countries. Like, I mean, like a typical toy for a 3-year-old, right? And besides learning how to use those things since they are kids, also another thing for them will be to show if they're ready to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of motherland, and especially Putin, their greatest king of all times. And then also maybe, like, you know, invade some nearby playgrounds to take away sandboxes from other kids, because I mean, you're not gonna take away, right? You're gonna liberate those sandboxes from the kids that you do not like. Well, that's, I guess, the message that the creators of this toy are trying to send to the Russian kids. And honestly, the timing of this particular toy coming to the Russian market is pretty interesting, because by the time these kids will become adults, Putin will be prepared for his next potential invasion, which might happen in the near future, and we will talk about this very soon. And in the meantime, I have a challenge for you guys. The most liked comment under this video will appear on my next merch. But just a little disclaimer, it cannot be way too explicit, because then my supplier will simply not approve it. So just, yeah, go ahead, write as many comments as you want, be as creative as you want, as funny, obviously, as you want, and the winner will be announced in my next video. And speaking about the merch, 15% discount for this iconic yellow hoodie on our website is still active, and besides this, our patrons, they receive additional promotional code which can be used site-wide on any purchase you want, and it can be used multiple times. The links to my Patreon and to the website therussiandude.com are down below. Okay, so now back to serious news reporting. First of all, let me give you a very brief update from the east and the south of Ukraine, where Ukrainians were able to achieve relative success, and then we're gonna talk about two next countries which Putin selected for his next potential invasion. And today, speaking about the east, we will talk a lot about the situation around Avdiivka, because this is where combat activities primarily are happening right now as we speak. And we begin with this extraordinary, unbelievable, once-in-a-million time video where basically two Russian infantry fighting vehicles are riding across the open field, and they simultaneously, like literally second to second, extremely synchronically, they catch inside a very big ball of fire. You will not believe it until you see it yourself, so for the full version, which is not available on YouTube unfortunately, I will not be able to show it. The full version is also on my Patreon, the link is down below. At the same time, even though unfortunately Avdiivka right now is under Russian control, Ukrainians do not give up their opportunities to destroy advancing Russians. Such as, for example, right here is the video of one of Ukrainian Bradleys doing just that. And right now, also, primarily, the direction of Russian attacks around Avdiivka obviously is to the west. Their next settlement after Lastchkin, which they started to target, is Orlivka. And unfortunately, guys, right now Russians are advancing slower than they did in Avdiivka, but they still do advance. And right here, for example, you can see the changes in territorial control over the last 24-48 hours. And Orlivka reportedly was captured by Russians. They even supposedly installed a flag inside this settlement, even though this map shows only partial control by the Z army. And yes, like I did mention previously, the pace of Russian attacks is not as significant as before, which is also confirmed by the most recent report by the Institute for the Study of War. And according to them, the main reason for this is literally the terrain to the west of this settlement, which is full of water, obstacles as you can see right here, and also just in general different heights and lows. So long story short, Russians are not longer advancing just in the straight open field. Right now they have to advance in a terrain which is not very, let's call it, user-friendly. Ukrainians can occupy a high ground and they will be able to see much better the relocations and the movements of Russians, which besides allowing them to destroy the advancing enemy easier, allows them also to collect much better intelligence and then plan their defenses accordingly. Along the eastern front lines right here is yet another very interesting video where only a single Ukrainian drone was able to completely, let's call it, dismantle, deconstruct a Z tank, most likely because it hit directly into this combat unit with lots of other very flammable materials, let's call it like this. And then right here is yet another, it's not the first one, it's not the last one, but right here is yet another video from elite Ukrainian forces Azov Brigade, which are fighting against Russians. And this video is pretty much I would just simply call it a masterpiece. It's a 12+ minutes long documentary which involves first-person view footage from the Ukrainian soldiers' GoPros, combat footage, liberations, attacks, defenses, repels, trench warfare. Anything you would expect to see in this video, it does have it. The video is obviously way too long for me to show entirely in my video. The full version also gonna be on my Patreon. It is also going to be uncensored one. So guys, please go ahead and check my Patreon. This is the best way to support the channel, and there is 1 week of free access for every single one of you to try the service if you like it or not. And so then another logical question would be, what is the response by Russians? As you would imagine, they again started attacking residential areas, such as for example right here in Kupiansk as a result of Russian artillery attacks. Reportedly a local church has been destroyed. Unfortunately there are civilian casualties and wounded, but luckily Ukrainian air defense in the last 24 hours was able to intercept all 10 out of 10 Russian Shahed drones. And now, just last 2 words about the situation in the south before we can talk about Putin selecting his new targets. And so, first of all, right now the biggest pressure of Russians in the Zaporozhye frontline is happening between Robotyne and Verby frontline, and Ukrainians are able to hold their ground. And such as, for example, reportedly only in the last 24 hours, at least 6 attempts by Russians to penetrate the defenses of Ukrainians were made, and every single one of these attempts was successfully repelled. Right, now it is time to talk about the future plans of Putin of expanding his Russian empire, or at least this is what he looks like has in his mind. But first of all, guys, if you don't mind, can you please subscribe to my channel and like this video, because restrictions on YouTube around my channel are getting very complicated. If you remember, more than 50% of my last videos were limited because I was showing something unacceptable. For this reason, guys, I sincerely do not want us to lose each other. And in the meantime, while I can still upload videos on YouTube, just once again, please subscribe. It only takes one simple click. Thank you so much. And so yes, the very first country that Putin is targeting for the next plans is the country of Transnistria, located right here between the territory of Ukraine and Moldova. Long story short, what happens is the following. For the very first time in 18 years, the so-called government of Transnistria decided to assemble a meeting and talk about some very, let's say so, unforeseen problems, some very urgent problems. And guess what they started to talk about? They started talking about that Moldova, the country which is next to them, is pressing these Transnistrian citizens so hard. That is why they just have to look for protection somewhere from the outside world. And guess what? This country from the outside world is obviously and very suspiciously is Russia. The Ministry of Defense of Moldova immediately reacted to this news and they published a, let's say, it's called like this, a law which will urge the industries and other businesses to surrender their vehicles in case needed, in case there is a big military operation on the territory of Moldova in favor of Moldovan army. And talking back about Transnistria, in the record-breaking less than a day from the very first meeting in 18 years, they already sent the request to help to the Russian Federation. And Russian authorities were like, you know, well, if you're asking us, I mean, okay, like we can give you help, but it's only because you are asking. I mean, we're not gonna go to Transnistria like, no, we are fighting it. No, it's only because you are asking, guys, like nothing else than this. We are gonna be peaceful, like we're gonna keep order, but like, yeah, we're gonna protect you. But for this, obviously, we will need to go to your territory and maybe even to Moldova. Well, honestly, this is something what I already heard from Donetsk, from Luhansk, but, I mean, well, history repeats itself, so let's see. But another second country for the potential military intervention from the Russian side is gonna maybe even be a very big surprise to you. And this country is, believe it or not, it's China. Like, they're kind of friends. At least this is what they try to show to the world, but this is what happens. Long story short, the Ministry of Defense of Russia, or I don't know, whoever else, somehow they found mysterious top secret documents from the Chinese officials which show them that the Chinese army will be doing some kind of military exercise about destroying 20% of nuclear supplies of Russia or targeting any other military objects of Russia whenever it's weakened with this because of this war with Ukraine. And Russia is like, well, okay, we need to prepare for this as well. We discovered these documents ourselves, we made our own conclusions, and now we justify ourselves, our own documents, our own potential next invasion. I mean, yeah, it all makes sense, right? I mean, yes, China technically is a little bit better friend to Russia than, I don't know, America, but I mean, you never know. Putin already did something which no one expected him to do, so guys, please let us know down below in the comments what do you think, whether Russia will enter Transnistria or China or both or neither of those countries. But wait, there is, as always, more. Whew, and this one is like just crazy. Like, I have simply no words. I do not think this is something absolutely like I will just present it to you as it is, so you can make your own justified conclusions and decisions. Long story short, the ex-president of America, Donald Trump, he literally offered Russia to attack NATO. What he basically said in one of his most recent NATO meetings, whenever he was asked some questions, and then maybe this was taken out of context or not, but this is pretty much what he said. So NATO, obviously, it comprises of several different countries. This is an alliance. These countries need to pledge a part of their GDP, 2% if I'm not mistaken, to the common reserve of money, let's say so. And those countries which are not paying into the common reserve, Trump said like, well, you're not paying your dues, you're not paying your fees, why us, NATO, why our alliance should protect you? We will just say, Russia, like, go ahead and attack them because, I mean, they're not paying, they're not part of the alliance, and we are not going to protect you. And another interesting statistics, back in 2014 it was only 3 out of whatever it is now, 31 NATO members which are fulfilling these obligations about spending the fixed percentage of their GDP on defenses. And this number right now from 3 countries it increased to 7 countries, but still this is a vast minority out of 31 alliance members. So basically Trump is kinda suggesting or even offering Russia to attack the entire alliance. Like, however crazy it sounds, once again guys, I tried not to give much of my opinion about this topic, I just present you the facts simple as it is, so it's just for you to make your own conclusions and decisions. And by the way, guys, if you did miss my previous video about the potential escalation because America is about to approve long-range ATACMS missiles for Ukraine, which will be used to destroy Crimean Bridge, this video will appear to the left side of me. At the same time, please do not forget about the official Russian dude merch, and also that patrons will get additional discounts for anything you want to buy from the website. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you, patrons, and see you tomorrow.